What's going on, 49er faithful? I'm JD. You're tuned in to the Thursday night edition of Keeping the Faith here live on YouTube. And I think we have some stuff to talk about.
No, he's still faithful. I'ma put it all on the table. He forever faithful. Yeah, he's still faithful.
What up, 49er fans? What a day, huh? What a day if you are a fan of the San Francisco 49ers. What a 48 hours. What a first week of free agency. I mean, the 49ers are making some noise this week, and largely for a lot of the right reasons. The Niners have been very active in the first few days of the new league year, of the NFL's free agency period. And the news that came down on Thursday is absolutely the icing on the cake. As look, I'm not going to bury the lead here. I'm not gonna talk your heads off too long before we get into this. The main topic of tonight's show, and we have a few different topics we are going to get into tonight, but the main topic of tonight's show, as I'm sure you see by the thumbnail and the title and the video I uploaded earlier today, Ian Rappaport, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, the San Francisco 49ers have reunited with linebacker Dre Greenlaw, re-signing him to the team that drafted him in 2019, bringing him back to where it all started with a 1-year, $7.5 million contract, just 1 year after he walked out of the doors in Santa Clara and went to the Denver Broncos and left Niner fans very upset. But here we are 1 year later, and Dre Greenlaw is back. What a day, what a day, what a day. I'm ecstatic. If you've been watching me for a long time, you know I'm a Dre Greenlaw fan. Dre Greenlaw was the emotional leader of this team. He set the tone with his fiery demeanor. He always gets the linebackers in the huddle pregame and does the the 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, best in the world. You guys get the drift. Dre Greenlaw is the guy. He's the hype man of the 49ers defense, and he sets the tone with his physicality, his play style, his ruthless aggression, his no bullshit attitude, and he's back. And the 49ers defense in 2025 definitely missed the presence of Dre Greenlaw. And I, for one, could not be more ecstatic that he is back. Look, there are a lot of people who are trying to downplay this move or poo-poo this move, talk it down. Where is this negative? Where is the negativity of re-signing Dre Greenlaw? Like, what's the downside here? Everyone's saying, "Oh, he's been injured. He's injury prone. He only played in 8 games in 2025 with Denver. He barely played with the Niners in 2024. His body's breaking down." Well, if you actually look at it, in 2025 in Denver, he played 8 regular season games. He had a quad injury in the offseason, followed by a hamstring during the year. But he played in 8 regular season games where he tallied 43 total tackles, 1 sack, 2 passes defense, and 1 interception. But he also played in the Broncos' 2 playoff games. So he played in 10 games last year. He was healthy late in the season. And when he's out there, he can still play. He is still a playmaker. And if you think he's not going to be motivated when he's back where it all started, back with his buddies, back with his brother Fred Warner, I mean, you're getting a Dre Greenlaw who has been doubted. You're getting a Dre Greenlaw who, may feel that he's being chewed up and spit out by the league. He goes to Denver. He leaves the only place he's ever known, being San Francisco, goes to Denver and wants to start his own legacy. He wanted to command his own linebacker room. That was one of the biggest reasons he wanted to step away from the 49ers and kind of get out of Fred Warner's shadow. Those are basically his words. He goes to Denver and he gets injured again. He has some bad luck with injuries again. And after 1 year, he gets released. So now Dre Greenlaw gets to come back to the 49ers and kind of rewrite his legacy. He gets to determine, based on his play and his ability to stay healthy, how the rest of his career is going to pan out. And you're going to have a motivated Dre Greenlaw. You're going to have a passionate Dre Greenlaw. And at only 1 year, $7.5 million. And you have to imagine that $7.5 million is not like the fully guaranteed figure. There's a ton of incentives in there, probably based upon how many games he plays, what kind of stats he puts up, et cetera, et cetera. So really, in all actuality, the deal's probably worth less than that, if we're being real. And I just don't understand what the downside is here. On the bright side of things, on the positive side of things, you get a healthy Dre Greenlaw who fits in perfectly next to Fred Warner and knows this team, knows the culture, understands the expectations that come with playing linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers. And he's a guy who's here and wants to be here. So that's the positive side of it. The negative side of it is, okay, maybe he gets dinged up again. It's a 1-year deal for pennies. It doesn't hurt the team. And they have D winners, Nick Martin, waiting in the wings. So there's no downside to this, to me. You have the fans energized over this move. There's no downside to bringing back Dre Greenlaw. Everyone's hung up on the injury front, and I understand why. Like, I get it. I'm not dumb. People are concerned. People are worried that maybe he's breaking down. He's not going to be able to stay healthy. But at the end of the day, like, it's not a bad thing. If he gets hurt, you have guys waiting in the wings already. D winners, he had ups and downs last year, but a lot of his downs came after Fred Warner got hurt. So if Dre Greenlaw goes down, D Winners gets to step in next to Fred Warner, and Winners will be serviceable. And then, of course, they spent a 3rd-round pick on Nick Martin, so you would hope that maybe he might be ready if the time comes, But to me, there's no real true downside to bringing back Dre Greenlaw because you have insurance. If anything were to happen, you have insurance. You have a backup plan. Last year, the 49ers didn't have that option. When D Winners got hurt late in the year, they had to go sign street free agents. Nick Martin had a concussion that he never was able to shake late in the season, and he wasn't able to get on the field. So the Niners were not prepared for the absence of their will linebacker. This year, they're more than prepared. They have the bodies. So you bring back Dre Greenlaw. The upside of this deal is immense for the 49ers. And if anything, he's going to come in and be that veteran leader. He's going to help, motivate and coach up the guys like D Winners and Nick Martin and show them what it takes to be a 49er day in and day out. I'm ecstatic. I am absolutely hyped beyond all recognition that Dre Greenlaw is back in a 49er freaking uniform. I can't believe it. And he hit the transaction wire, the NFL's transaction wire this morning. The Denver Broncos officially released Dre Greenlaw this morning, and it took about 4 hours for the 49ers to come calling and announce that they're bringing him back. It didn't take long. Now, I'm sure, it was in the works for a lot longer than 4 hours, but as soon as it was official, I think the foregone conclusion was that Dre Greenlaw was going to be returning to the San Francisco 49ers. Everyone basically predicted. I predicted it. So I'm not even patting myself on the back. Like, it was low-hanging fruit. I think it was, a formality at that point. Once the Broncos released him, everybody kind of knew what was going to happen. And I'm happy, man. I'm happy. At the end of the day, it feels good to be a Niner fan today because one of your fan favorites is back. And I'm excited. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. And at the end of the day, the downside to this deal, like there's not a ton of downside. I'm not trying to be like Mr. Positivity. I'm not trying to carry the water of the 49ers or anything like that. I just don't see like this doom and gloom perspective that some are talking about with this deal. I don't, because the Niners are more prepared this time around if something were to happen. So I'm excited, and I'm excited for what it means for the 49ers defense. They have their tone setter back. They have one of their emotional leaders on this team. It's awesome. What an awesome freaking day to be a 49er fan, if I do say so myself. Let me see what you guys are saying here in the chat. We do have multiple topics that we are going to hit on here tonight on the show. Of course, I wanted to start off with the news of Dre Greenlaw coming back to the Bay. We do have some other topics we will get to. And maybe if you guys are feeling up to it later, maybe I will open up the StreamYard link and let you guys call in, give your thoughts, maybe share your favorite Dre Greenlaw memories, whatever the case may be. That's if you guys are interested. So we'll see. But let me see what you guys are saying here in the chat before we move on, because there was a ton of 49ers news today. I mean, within the last 48 hours, it's just been boom, boom, boom. Like the Niners are putting in work right now. And it's if you're a Niner fan, it's fun. It's a fun time. Esai says, let's go. I like the energy from my guy Esai. Let's see. Let me scroll through the chat. Salvador says, what's up, JD? What's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Let me scroll through these comments here, guys. Esai says, I bet Fred is ecstatic. I mean, you kidding me? He still hasn't sat down, at this point in the day. I'm sure he's still going nuts. I actually saw Fred's wife, Sydney, on Instagram this morning. She posted to her stories and she said, I have a big secret and I want to tell somebody, or something to that effect. And this was a couple hours before the news, came out that Greenlaw was coming back. That's what it was. Like the Warners and the Greenlaws are very, very tight. And so she posted to her story that, she had some big secret and she wanted to tell everyone. That's what it was. So that was kind of a hint right there earlier today. Big Brick 84 in the chat says, I was really mad to see Greenlaw leave, but I'm not necessarily stoked to have him back. Hoping we didn't just pay $7.5 million for a guy that won't play much. Hope he is healthy and can play every snap. I mean, like I mentioned, it's probably not $7.5 million. The total, like the maximum value is probably $7.5 million, and he'll have to meet certain incentives, certain benchmarks, play a certain number of games, that sort of thing. At the end of the day, I don't think he's going to make $7.5 million, if especially if he misses any time. But I'm not, I'm not even, we can't think about it like that. We can't think, oh man, Dre Greenlaw's going to get hurt. Like, we can't think about it like that. You can't go into the season thinking, oh man, we got this player, he's going to get hurt. Like, let's see what happens. Let's wait and see what happens. I remember 2018 when Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL. I had people telling me, man, Jimmy's injury prone. He's fragile. He's not going to play, all 16 games in 2019. I actually made a bet with somebody. I said, yeah, I bet you, whatever the bet was, I said, Jimmy Garoppolo's going to play the full season. And in 2019, he did exactly that. So you just never know. You never know. You can't count your eggs before they hatch. Now, yes, does it look like a trend with Dre Greenlaw after tearing his ACL or his Achilles in the Super Bowl during the 2023 season, having a bit of a rough recovery in 2024, and then having a couple of injuries in Denver in 2025? Yes, it does look like it's trending in the wrong direction, but he is still just 28 years old, turns 29 soon. He's on the right side of 30 still, and he's coming back to a place that he knows very well, with a team that knows him and knows how he likes to play. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being more optimistic because I'm excited to have one of my favorite players back in a 49er uniform. But I just don't want to I don't want to pour water on this right now. Like I'm feeling good about it. Let's see what happens. And like I said, if Dre Greenlaw gets hurt financially, it's not a big deal. And on the field, they're going to have D Winters and Nick Martin available to play. So I don't see. I feel like the upside is way higher than what the downside is. Like if you get a healthy Dre Greenlaw and you get Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw to kind of turn back the clock, I mean the Niners defense is going to be in some good hands. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being a little too optimistic, but I'm ecstatic, man. And I think it's an upgrade. As long as he's healthy, I think it's an upgrade over D Winters. And D Winters is going into a contract year. So this isn't a good thing for D Winters, potentially. He may not be able to really showcase what he can do going into his contract year. Jay Tan in the comments says, JD, you were right. Greenlaw is a 49er again, and it is great to mentor the young linebackers. Also, he is good friends with Wall. I'm assuming you mean Fred Warner. Let's see. Jay Tan says $5 million base salary with 7.5 as the incentive, or with the incentives. Okay, maybe I didn't see that. Maybe that's the case. Tommy says JD is ducking me again. I'm not ducking anybody, Tommy. But comments like that will get you blocked. So relax. I'm not ducking anybody. I didn't see what you said. If you're thinking I'm ducking you, I'm definitely not. Let's see what else we got in these comments here. Tommy Huxley says Greenlaw still top 10 in coverage. What else is as good? Nobody on our team. And he actually had the highest graded run, or the highest run grade of his entire career, or grade against the run, however you want to word it, with the Denver Broncos in 2025. So when he's out on the field, he's still an effective player. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I think we're caught up. Okay, here we go. I got one more. Salvador. I can only imagine Fred is losing his freaking mind knowing that Dre Greenlaw is back. I mean, I'm sure they've been talking. I'm sure this is not news to Fred Warner. It's not a shock. I'm sure they knew this was probably coming down the pipeline. But definitely wanted to start off the show tonight hitting on the Dre Greenlaw topic, because that, in my opinion, is the biggest news of the day if you are a San Francisco 49er fan. Now, the next little bit of news that I want to get into here tonight on the show, Bryce Huff, 49ers defensive end, or should I say former 49ers defensive end Bryce Huff, announced his retirement today on Instagram. He posted a video where he kind of talked about his background and what football meant to him and what football provided for him and his story, and decided to hang up his cleats as of today. He had some quotes from that video that I have here that I want to read to you guys, just to give you guys a sense of what Huff said in his Instagram video. One of the quotes is as follows. He says, "Football has been my entire life. I've played ever since I was 4 years old, but at 27 years old, I know I'm capable of giving the world more than just football. The game taught me perseverance. It taught me discipline. It taught me how to lead and how to find a way forward when things feel impossible. Now it's time for the next chapter of my life." And he also announced that he is beginning his own business called Neighborstone, which will provide safety, or which will help build safety and infrastructure to help with fire risk on lithium-ion batteries. Obviously, this is a cause that is near and dear to Bryce Huff, and he wants to do something other than football, and he thinks that he can bring he can bring value to other areas outside of football, and decided to ultimately hang it up at 27 years old. He does turn 28 in April. The timing, however, is interesting because Bryce Huff was due a $1 million roster bonus tomorrow. His 2026 salary, however, had zero guaranteed dollars coming his way. He did have a $5.3 million cap hit in 2026, which is now off the books. And in total, based on a prorated option bonus that was going to be paid out to Bryce Huff over the next several seasons, the 49ers are saving a total of $17 million when it is all said and done, with Bryce Huff ultimately deciding to walk away. The 49ers in turn did formally release him. So if he does decide he wants to play again in a year or two, he will be a free agent. He is not under the contractual obligation to the 49ers. But as it stands right now, his $5.3 million cap hit is off the books and gives the Niners a little bit more to work with. And they, again, did not want to pay his $1 million roster bonus due to him tomorrow. But at the end of the day, football players deal with a lot, man. And, we don't know all the story. Obviously, we don't know what all he's going through. He sounded, I don't know if trouble's the right word, but he sounds like he's been going through some stuff and he wants to walk away, clear his head, and dedicate his time to other areas of his life. Either way, congratulations, Bryce Huff, on a very good career. I mean, as an undrafted free agent, he went on to do some good things in the National Football League. I believe he signed the biggest contract ever for any non-quarterback undrafted free agent in NFL history. So congratulations, Bryce Huff, on retirement. I hope you enjoy whatever it is you do next. And thank you for what you did for the 49ers in 2025. Now, there was a possibility that he wasn't going to be returning to the 49ers anyway, and the Niners were potentially looking at having to fill that void regardless. The writing did seem to be on the wall that they were going to move on from Bryce Huff, but now, I mean, it's clear as day. The Niners have a huge gaping hole on their defensive line, despite just acquiring the defensive interior rusher Osa Odigizua from the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. I mean, their defensive line is looking solid at this point with the addition that they made and the return of Nick Bosa, Micah Williams, etc. But now the vision is clear. Like, they have to address the edge spot opposite Nick Bosa in a big way. Now, does that mean they're going to do that in free agency or the draft? Who knows? I think there's a possibility that they do both. The speculation is out there that the 49ers will go after Joey Bosa at some point and reunite the Bosa brothers. It kind of feels like this offseason now all of a sudden is all about creating the most positive vibes possible. I mean, bringing in Mike Evans created a ton of positive buzz. Bringing back Dre Greenlaw does not hurt that plan at all. That's going to only help the morale of the fan base. You bring in Osa Odigizua in a trade that is being widely regarded as very, very smart by the 49ers. It seems like all the moves that they're making are being carefully curated to drum up some positivity. And it wouldn't shock me if they bring in Joey Bosa, reunite him with his brother Nick, and go full on like, hey, let's feel good and bring in all the positive vibes that we can. And then I do think they are going to address the edge spot in the draft as well. Can never have enough edge rushers, and they definitely need at least one or two. So with all that said, Bryce Huff has officially retired at the age of 27, and the 49ers now have some more work to do. So let's see what they do in the coming days and weeks to address that edge spot opposite Nick Bosa. Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat regarding Bryce Huff before we go ahead and move along to our next topic. Let me just scroll back through. Esai taking the words right out of my mouth. He says, sign Joey Bosa. I mean, we talked about it here on the channel recently. He was effective for the Buffalo Bills in 2025. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if they brought in Joey Bosa, but I definitely want to see them get someone younger, more explosive. Look, I'll put it this way. If they took Zion Young at 27 in the first round of the draft, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it. I'll put it that way. Salvador says, I can't believe Huff retired. That's crazy. I'm definitely curious to see who's going to be his replacement. Let's see. Looks like Matt Hennessy signed with the Cowboys. That's what you guys are saying in the chat. I haven't seen that. Maybe it just came through. Hey, shout out Matt Hennessy. He's going to go play for the Cowboys now. So we'll see what the Niners do. They did bring in Brett Toth, who is a guy who can play guard or center. So losing Matt Hennessy doesn't really seem like that big of a loss at this point. Brett Toth, a 29-year-old, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, very versatile player, great movement ability. We talked about it here on the channel. But looks like Matt Hennessy found himself a new home. So that's interesting. Also, real quick, I did notice right before we went live here, looks like Juwan Jennings may actually be potentially close to joining a new team. It sounds like there is interest between he and the Tennessee Titans. Apparently, the New York Giants last season had wanted to acquire Juwan Jennings while Brian Daboll was the head coach. Well, now Brian Daboll is the offensive coordinator in Tennessee. We all know Robert Saleh is the head coach and the connection there. It sounds like Juwan Jennings may end up being a Tennessee Titan. I mean, who saw that coming? That's only been the talk for the last 3 or 4 months. He played his college ball at Tennessee. There's connections there. It sounds like Juwan Jennings may become a Tennessee Titan. I definitely wanted to mention that as well. I did not see Juwan coming back, especially after they signed Mike Evans, because even at 33 years old, Mike Evans is still basically a better version of Juwan Jennings based on what he brings to the football field. But let's move on to our next topic, and that is wide receiver Mike Evans arrived to the Bay today. If you're on social media, you saw the videos of him pulling up in the car, dapping up the personnel people, dapping up John Lynch in the media room, signing his contract with the feather pen, taking the promo pictures, making a couple videos for social media. Mike Evans arrived in San Francisco today, and he held a press conference with the media via Zoom. I wish they would have let the media come in there in person and do this thing, but maybe because it's so early in the off season and a lot of media guys are kind of scattered throughout the country, they just said, okay, it'll be easier for everyone if we do it over Zoom. But Mike Evans had a press conference with the assembled media down in Santa Clara today, and I took away a few different quotes from that presser that stood out to me. He hit on various different topics, including, how difficult it was for him to leave Tampa Bay after playing there for 12 seasons, why he chose the Niners, how his thoughts on Brock Purdy as a quarterback, his thoughts on Kyle Shanahan, how George Kittle really helped bring him here. He hit on a number of topics in his presser today, and I want to go through some of these quotes. And one of his last comments was probably his best, but we'll save that for last. He said there were some things he said here today that I really, really liked. So one of his first comments was on leaving Tampa Bay. They asked him, how hard was it for him to walk away from the team that drafted him, the only team he'd ever known in the NFL. His family's there, his friends are there, his life has been there for over 12 years. How hard was it for him to leave Tampa Bay and come all the way across the country and sign with the 49ers? And Mike Evans had this to say, and I quote, "It was always going to be hard to leave Tampa. I was there 12 years, had a lot of friends out there. My family has friends out there. My kids built a life there, my wife. But football-wise, this was the best spot for me for sure." And I love that last little part. Football-wise, this was the best spot for me for sure. This entire move from Mike Evans is based on football. He wanted to go where he felt it was the best opportunity for him to come in, contribute, be that wide receiver one, help a team get over the hump, help a quarterback get to the next level. And that was the big tone I took from this press conference from Mike Evans. Is this entire decision was based on football, and it's kind of refreshing, especially a player of his caliber who could have asked for whatever dollar amount he probably wanted. Now maybe he wouldn't have gotten it, but a lot of players in his position would ask for a lot more money than what Evans ultimately settled on. 1 year, $16 million deal, essentially. I mean, yes, the announcement was 3 years up to $60 million, but for all intents and purposes, it's a 1 year, $16 million deal that the Niners can get out of after this year. So this move was all about football for Mike Evans, and he had some great things to say about the organization, about some of the players on the roster, the stadium, the fan base. He said all the right things today. And I really liked what I heard from Mike Evans. He's very matter of fact, very serious. He's a guy who's been around the block, knows what he wanted, and he made the best decision for the rest of his career. And on why he chose San Francisco, this was an interesting quote from Evans. He said, "I've always appreciated how the Niners went about their business on the football field, and I've got some guys here that have always told me great things about this organization. And I've always loved the way Kyle calls games." He went on to say, a team that they always compete, even with the injuries last year. I feel like they were one piece away, and I think I'm that piece. And I look forward to coming here and proving that. I like that from Mike Evans. He's coming in here motivated. He's hearing the noise. A lot of people are telling Mike Evans, look, you're 33. You're coming off of a down year. You're starting to get hurt. Your body's breaking down. Mike Evans is hearing all that noise. And guys like that who are future Hall of Famers, they hear that noise and it fuels them. Mike Evans is coming to the 49ers with a chip on his shoulder. And when you have a future Hall of Famer with a chip on their shoulder late in their career, he's a guy that wants to come in here and prove people wrong. And a lot of times with older players who have accomplished a lot, sometimes they need that fire to be lit underneath them to kind of, remind them, hey, they're doubting you. They're talking like, what are you going to do? Are you going to kind of, are you going to go down swinging, or are you going to walk away with your tail between your legs and kind of, tell everyone that they were right? Mike Evans, he's coming in here motivated, and he sounds like he's really, really hyped up to continue his football career. And I did hear LaShawn McCoy the other day on his podcast saying, hey, Mike Evans is motivated, man. He's down to 225 pounds. He's working out. He looks good. So you're hearing all the right things with Mike Evans at this point. He also said that he did his own research, or quite a bit of his own homework, on prospective teams and organizations and where he wanted to go during this free agency process. And his quote said, I did my research on a lot of teams that I was looking at. I was looking at contenders, guys with good quarterbacks, obviously. So I was looking here, the Buffalo Bills, teams that needed a number one receiver. I like this place. This was my number one spot on my own. And then I talked to GM John Lynch and Kyle, and it solidified it for me. He went on to say, I've always been a fan of Kyle, and he just talked about how he sees me in this offense, and it just made me even happier, and it was a no-brainer, really, after I got off the phone with them. So he was already, feeling good about the 49ers, and then he talked to Kyle Shanahan, he talked to John Lynch. I'm sure Kyle Shanahan explained to Mike Evans, look, you are the perfect X receiver that we are missing in this offense. You can come here and get the targets that you want and continue your career and be a perfect hand and glove fit for this offense. And I'm sure that sold Mike Evans right there on the spot. And here we are. I mean, we know the rest. The rest is history, right? He also had some very interesting comments regarding quarterback Brock Purdy. And you know that anywhere that a receiver is going to sign in free agency, they're obviously going to look at who the quarterback is and that situation. I mean, that's, a pretty common sense approach, I would think. And he had some good things to say about number 13. He said, he's a true professional, really, really underrated player. His first start was against my Buccaneers back in 2022. I was at that game. It was crazy. And I saw right then and there that if I played with him, I feel like I could help him out a lot. He then went on to say, and he's already a really good player. I just hope I can help him get to where he wants to go in his career, and that's to be a Super Bowl champion, potential MVP, and just have a great career here in San Francisco. So Evan said, he looked at the quarterback situations. He talked about the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. He wanted to go to a place where he felt like it was a Super Bowl contender, felt like they could win now, felt like he could come in and be a top wide receiver and play with an elite quarterback. And he chose the 49ers over the Buffalo Bills. He chose Brock Purdy over Josh Allen. Now, I'm sure it's more complicated than that. I'm sure it had to do maybe with the price tag. It probably had to, had a great deal to do with the Buffalo Bills recently acquiring DJ Moore. And Mike Evans probably saw the 49ers receiver room and said, hey, if I go there, I'll probably get more targets than if I would go to Buffalo. And I don't want to necessarily play in the cold and the snow at this stage of my career. And so I think he saw the weather, he saw the fit, he saw the offense, the play caller, the quarterback, the money. I just think the whole situation was what Mike Evans was looking for. And here we are. Now, he had a couple other things to say that were interesting to me. He did mention that George Kittle was the ultimate salesman or the ultimate hype man, pitch man for the 49ers and kind of helped seal the deal in bringing in the future Hall of Famer. His quote was from the press conference, George was the biggest salesman, is what Evans said. George sold it big time, and he's a big reason why I'm here, just because of the type of player and teammate that he is. So, I mean, they've played together in Pro Bowls. A lot of these elite guys, they're around each other in the off season or at the Pro Bowl, different things. And they said George Kittle was a very big part in helping bring in Mike Evans. And that's awesome. I mean, I don't expect anything less from the ultimate ambassador that is George Kittle. He is kind of like a de facto GM on this team. I mean, players love him. Guys love to play with him. He's outspoken. He will, he'll recruit guys. And he always talks great about the 49ers. So I'm sure if anybody else got on the phone with George, he could sell them on coming to the 49ers too. But it was the last comment from Mike Evans at his press conference today that really kind of gave me goosebumps a little bit, got me a little hyped up, got me going, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. Mike Evans said this: I always feel like I've got something to, let me rephrase that. I always feel like I've got to prove something, he said. I always feel like I can be better, and I want to show that I'm still who people believe that I am, and that's one of the best to ever do it. I mean, mic drop. What a comment from, the multi-time All-Pro and Pro Bowler Mike Evans. I love that. I mean, he's a guy who does not lack confidence. He is very comfortable in his own skin, very self-assured, very self-aware, and confident, man. I love hearing that from Mike Evans. He's not a player who is he doesn't think that he's done. He doesn't think that his best football is necessarily behind him. He thinks he can come in here and be a wide receiver one, help elevate this offense, help elevate Brock Purdy, and help this team win. And the press conference today, and of course, what else was he going to do but say, good things about the organization and all that? But it was, to me, on all fronts, the press conference was good. Like, I liked what I heard from Mike Evans today. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat before we move on to our next topic here tonight on the show. Let's see. Jay Tan says 49ers been needing a guy like Big Mike, and Mike's been needing the 49ers culture. I like that. That's an underrated comment right there. Yeah. The Niners have been looking for a big man like that for a while. And, I'm sure Mike Evans feels refreshed coming here to San Francisco. Let's see. Tony says, I can't wait for the season to start. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Today, man, these last couple days, I'm sure it's not just me. I know the fan base is pumped up, man. Like, this has been a big jolt of energy the last couple of days if you're a 49er fan. Esai says, Mike Evans with a chip on his shoulder can be so damn dangerous. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Exactly what I'm thinking. Let's see. Okay, I think we're caught up. Right there. We got one more. All right, we got a couple more. Kane says, what number is he going to rock? The 49ers put out a graphic a little bit ago, and it showed kind of like the very top of Mike Evans wearing a jersey, and it looked like I'm not for sure, but it looked like he was going to be wearing 14. It was very hard to tell because it was very like the cutoff, very tip of the numbers. You could see there was a 1 here, and on this side, it looked like a 4 to me. You can't tell 100%, but it looked like a 4. I'll say this. If he wore number 11, I wouldn't be mad. I'll put it that way. Let's see what other comments we got. We got a Seahawk fan talking some mess here. It says Brock can't get Mike the ball when D-Law, Leonard Williams, and Murphy are tearing up your O-line. Hawks run the NFC West. Well, you better hope that DeMarcus Lawrence doesn't retire and you don't miss, Aboye Mafe, and you don't miss Kobe Bryant, and you don't miss Tariq Woolen. Those Super Bowl champion Seahawks aren't the same Super Bowl champion Seahawks anymore, my man. Just in case you were wondering, who's gonna be your running back? By the way, Kenneth Walker went to the Chiefs. Zach Charbonnet has a torn ACL. Like, who are you going to even hand the ball to? Are you going to call up Marshawn just to not give him the football again? Like, what are the Seahawks going to do? That's what I want to know. Yeah, you guys won the Super Bowl. Hey, golf clap. Guess what? It's 2026. New league year, and the Niners are coming. Man. Let's see. Jay Harrison, 49, says Lynch is doing great so far. Hopefully it extends to the draft. I think it will. One of the top safeties would be awesome in the first round. Let's see. Thought I saw one other comment that I wanted to read, but maybe not. Okay. All right. I think we're good. So, yeah, Mike Evans had his press conference today with the media. All good things. And Osa Odigizua also arrived in the Bay late in the day. Doesn't look like he had a press conference with the media. Nothing's came out from there as of yet, but he did pull up to 4949 down there in Santa Clara. Some of those pictures are circulating on social media. So shout out to the 49ers' newest defensive tackle, Osa Odigizua, for finally arriving in the Bay. Now, let's get to our next topic. And some of you may have seen my tweet this morning. Some of you may have seen the video that I put out this morning. We mentioned it briefly last night here on the channel on stream, but I put out the video today, and I tweeted out the video with some comments online. And Grant Cohn of Sports Illustrated and YouTube fame, I mean, everybody knows Grant. He actually retweeted my initial tweet with my video in it, and it's gotten like 70,000 views because of Grant. So shout out to Grant for that. Much appreciated. But this is coming from a report from Grant, who was doing a live stream yesterday and said that he had a source who had originally told him as soon as the season ended that the 49ers had already been kicking the tires on Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison. Now, we've known about that since, the end of January. We've talked about it here on the channel. I got a video as soon as that all came out. We dropped a video on it and talked about it. But it looks like, according to Grant and his source, that the San Francisco 49ers are still calling the Minnesota Vikings about receiver Jordan Addison this week after they've already signed Mike Evans. So the 49ers are still trying to make moves. They're kicking the tires on the 24-year-old former first-round pick, and they're doing it even after acquiring Mike Evans. So I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just saying the Niners are busy. The Niners are making phone calls, trying to make this team better, and we've talked about it here on the channel. I am a fan of Jordan Addison. He is 24 years old, about 5'11", I believe 175 pounds, Very, very quick. He ran a 4.49 coming out of college, but he's a very quick receiver, crisp route runner, good hands, good body control, explosive player. I think he plays faster than his 40 time, and he is definitely quicker than fast, but he's still an explosive player. I really like him. He has a lot of untapped potential, dealing with inconsistent quarterback play over his time in Minnesota. Now, of course, he does have his off the field issues. He's been arrested 3 times. He's gotten a little bit of trouble off the field. His most recent arrest, the charges were dropped, however, so I definitely want to mention that. But if I'm the 49ers, man, and they can get Jordan Addison, I would do it. I really like Jordan Addison. I think he is the perfect kind of complement to a Mike Evans. And if I'm being real, it kind of feels like the Ricky Pearsall replacement. And I like Ricky Pearsall, and I don't want the team to necessarily give up on Ricky just yet. I think he's had some bad luck in his first couple of seasons with the Niners, but you've been hearing the talk all off season. Guys like Larry Krueger reporting that they've heard the Niners are looking to trade Ricky Pearsall. And I feel like if they go and get a Jordan Addison, it would be to replace Ricky Pearsall, because in terms of skill sets and what they would bring to the offense, they're very similar players that way. But Niner fans, what do you guys think, man? Would you go after Jordan Addison? Now, with that said, Grant Cohn also mentioned that his source told him that the Minnesota Vikings are seeking a first-round pick for Jordan Addison. Now, look, the Niners are seeking a first-round pick for Mac Jones. Doesn't mean they're going to get it, right? I don't think that the Vikings are going to get a first-round pick for Jordan Addison if they trade him. If they do trade him, they will settle on something lower because they're going to have to. A lot of the talk revolving around Mac Jones to the Vikings is pretty much dead now, that the Vikings went ahead and signed former Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray today. So you can throw that out the window. Mac Jones isn't going to Minnesota in any kind of deal for Jordan Addison. But what do you guys think? I mean, I wouldn't give up a first-round pick. Absolutely not. But if the 49ers are trying to move off of Ricky Pearsall, maybe you can package Ricky Pearsall in a fourth-round pick to the Vikings for Jordan Addison. Or maybe Ricky Pearsall and next year's third-rounder for Jordan Addison. Maybe something like that. Who knows? But he's really talented, guys. He's talented, and I know he has some off the field concerns, a little rough around the edges, but that doesn't bother me. This team needs a little bit of grit, a little bit of swagger to them. They need to. I don't know. They just need a little extra something to me. And Jordan Addison, I know he's a little rough around the edges, but damn, he could play. I really, really like him, and I would be ecstatic if they were able to pull that off. Of course, I would not want to give up a first-round pick, like I said, but I'm all for going to get Jordan Addison. Let me see what you guys are saying here in the draft, or in the chat. Big Brick says, what kind of contract do you think Addison would demand? Well, I believe his fifth-year option would have to be picked up this offseason, I think. Let's see. He was drafted in 2023, so this is he's going into his fourth year this year. Next year would be his fifth year. So the Niners would have him under team control for the next 2 seasons, including 2026. I mean, it all depends on how much he produces, man. He's been in trouble off the field. His numbers haven't been crazy, so it's not like he's going to command like top of the market money. But if he comes in here and balls out, then he can ask for kind of whatever he wants. But let's have him play well and then deal with that problem later. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat here. Did I miss something here? Eastside says 49ers signed former cornerback Nate Hobbs to a 1-year deal. Is that hold on. Is that real? Because Nate Hobbs, when he was on the Raiders, Nate Hobbs was a damn good player. Let's see if I missed anything. I'm scrolling through my notifications right now. According to Jordan Schultz right here, it says sources, the 49ers are expected to sign former Raiders and Packers cornerback Nate Hobbs to a 1-year deal. The 26-year-old was recently released by Green Bay and is now joining the Raheem Morris defense in San Francisco. This is interesting to me because last I checked, Nate Hobbs was a nickel. And he's coming off of a down year in Green Bay, if I'm being real. Let me see what people are saying, because this is catching me off guard a little bit. I mean, he did sign a 4-year, $48 million deal with the Packers and only lasted one season in Green Bay. So that's a big kind of red flag to me. He was a talented player when he was with the Raiders. He was getting a lot of hype when he was with the Raiders. But after signing a big money deal, he struggled in Green Bay this year, and now they've cut him instantly. I mean, okay, I don't know. He's been an up and down player, and as far as I know, he's a nickel, and so I'm not sure. Maybe they moved him to outside. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that situation, and I know that Upton Stout is the 49ers nickel guy of the future, unless Raheem Morris wants to make some changes. But they signed Nate Hobbs. I would imagine that means that Chase Lucas will not be coming back to the 49ers unless they're going to play Nate Hobbs on the outside. I don't know. We'll see. But it looks like the Niners have a brand new corner in Nate Hobbs. Okay, if they can find some of that magic that he had with the Raiders, then the Niners just made a solid pickup. But if they get the same guy that was in Green Bay this past season, then maybe he's just a camp body or they're a 1-year flyer. We will see. Big Brick says Hobbs is just a rumor, nothing official yet. I saw Jordan Schultz say it's happening. Kid Clientele says Chase Lucas replacement. Yep, like we just mentioned. Interesting stuff. Nate Hobbs is a San Francisco 49er. Okay, let's wait and see. That's how I'll put it. Let's wait and see. With all that said, we got through our main topics of the show tonight. We hit on Dre Greenlaw coming back to the 49ers and having me absolutely hyped the hell up all day long. We hit on Mike Evans having his introductory press conference with the 49ers media today. We hit on the Jordan Addison talk with Grant Cohn revealing last night that his source is telling him the Niners are still kicking the tires on the 24-year-old wide receiver even after signing Mike Evans this week. And we also hit on the unexpected news that Bryce Huff has announced his retirement today. And now the 49ers will have to fill that edge spot opposite Nick Bosa. They're going to have to go get somebody who can scream off that edge and get after the quarterback. But I feel like they were going to end up doing that anyway. And the Niners are going to save $17 million over the next several seasons based on his salary and the prorated roster bonuses, all that good stuff. But with all that said, I was not going to do a call-in show today. We've been live for almost an hour, and I've been talking my head off. So tell you what, you guys let me know in the chat. If you guys want to call in, if you guys want me to open up the phone lines and talk to the faithful, drop your ones in the chat right now, and let me see who's interested in potentially calling in. Let's talk about it. I want to hear from you guys. How are you feeling about bringing Dre Greenlaw back? What are your thoughts on Bryce Huff retiring? What are your thoughts on a potential Jordan Addison trade? What do you think about what you heard from Mike Evans today down in Santa Clara? I was not going to do a call-in show. That was not the plan when I went live tonight, but I'm feeling good, and I don't want to end quite yet. Esai dropped his one. I think Esai wants to call in. You know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's drop the link and talk to the faithful. Here we go. StreamYard link is now in the chat. You guys can go ahead and call in. Let me make sure that I pin it to the chat so you guys can have it there. Bear with me, guys. Okay. Come on. All right. The StreamYard link is pinned. You guys can now call in. I want to hear from some people. Are you guys as hyped up as I am that the 49ers brought back Dre Greenlaw? I can tell you what, I know what my next jersey purchase is going to be. You know, I'm getting a Dre Greenlaw jersey. Absolutely. I don't care if he's only here for one more year. I'm hyped up, man. Like he's in my I would say in the last 15 years, Dre Greenlaw is probably like in my top 5 to 6 favorite Niners. Like I love Dre Greenlaw, and I'm ecstatic that he's back. All right, we have a caller backstage. Let's go out to Esai calling in. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight, man?
Yo, JD, how's it going, man?
Man, you
Our,
know it.
our,
I'm hyped, man. I'm excited.
yeah, no, man. I mean, these moves just make so much sense, man. It's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, we knew that they were going to be aggressive, but they're making all the right moves and they're not overspending for these guys, man. It's great. I love this front office. They're just on fire this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, are you concerned about the Dre Greenlaw injury aspect of things,
No,
or
no,
are
no.
you of the are you of the opinion like I am that like, look, it's not that much money. It's a 1 year
Yes,
deal. It's not a big deal to me.
it's a 1 year deal. And like you said, it's not a lot of money, and I like the signing. Nick Martin, he's raw talent, man. And I think it's kind of more of a, hey, we like Nick, but he's still raw. Let's show him what this 49er scheme's about. Have him really. I mean, Dre Greenlaw helped build the house, man. You know who
Hey,
who
hey,
who?
that you know what? I couldn't have said it better myself. He helped build this thing. He really
Yeah.
did. And to have him come back here and be reunited with Fred Warner, man, it's everything. Like,
Yes. I
uh,
mean,
I can't wait
like,
for the home opener. I
yeah. I
can't wait
mean,
for the home opener.
his. I mean, one play from him that just he's always remembered to me by is that goal line stand where he stopped Hollister at the goal line for the Niners win the number one seed and go on to play in the Super Bowl
Yeah,
in
I
Seattle's
mean,
house.
that was an amazing moment. Top
Yeah.
top 3 greatest moments of the last 15, 20 years of being a 49er fan.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely awesome to have Greenlaw back in the fold. Let me ask you, Esai, uh,
Uh-huh.
what about the Jordan Addison stuff? I mean, what do you think
So
there?
yeah, I mean, I would love Jordan Addison to come on over to the Bay. I think he'd fit right in. Kyle Shanahan's you know scheme would definitely benefit from at a player like Addison. I mean, he's similar to Ricky, size and he's speedster. And Ricky, before he got injured, he was top three in receiving yards in the league. I mean, he's kind of what you want in this scheme. But with Naylor walking away and them signing Murray, I don't really think that they really want to give him up. Um, I mean, what draft pick do they have?
Off the top of my head, I can't answer that, but I do agree with you. I mean, they have Kyler Murray. He's coming into that situation, and he's going to want to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson
Yeah,
and Jordan Addison. I'm sure that has a big reason to do with why he went there. And yeah, the Niners can call all they want and want Jordan Addison all they want, but I don't necessarily blame the Vikings for saying, "Hey, we like him, but if you want him, give us a first round pick." Like it's going to take a lot to pry him off of their hands. And so,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
it takes
it's
two to tango at the end of the day.
it's kind of like give me an offer I can't refuse type deal,
Mhm.
and I really don't think the Niners have. I mean, they're filling holes, but it's kind of more of like, you know, it's not long term. It's kind of quick relief holes. Like band aids. But I mean, these could be better band aids. Like good band aids that could lead to long term extensions and whatnot. I'd still like to see him go either safety or offensive line in the draft.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe I wouldn't be mad at a pass rusher. Or I mean, I'm gonna stay up kind of late tonight waiting for the Joey Bosa signing, man.
Hey, you know what? That might
I
not be a
mean, Nate
bad
Hobbs.
idea.
Yeah,
I
Nate
think
Hobbs.
they brought
I
in Nate
mean,
Hobbs. I think the Joey Bosa signing's next. And hey, we can't forget Debo's still out there. So there's certain signings I think we know are coming. It's just a matter of when. That Joey Bosa to the Niners notification is going to be crazy when it happens. But we'll see. They do need to address the trenches, I think, here at 27 now. Either way, they need to go after a pass rusher or an offensive lineman. And I think bringing in Osa Odigizua was big for this team. I think bringing in Mike Evans filled a big hole. So I think at 27 now, it's kind of shaping up to be either a safety, because we know Raheem Morris is a secondary guy, loves his safeties, or it's probably going to be somebody in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all these moves make so much sense. I mean, maybe they flip a couple of these guys too for draft picks. Uter Gross Matos, I think he's still under contract. I don't know why that guy is still on the freaking roster. You know, just maybe we shop him around for a 6th or 7th. And just to, if someone falls. But I'm liking these moves, man. I'm really
and
I'm
we're
really
about a
liking these
month and a
moves.
half out. We're about a month and a half out from the NFL draft. The Niners, as of right now, have 6 picks in the upcoming draft after trading their 3rd rounder to Dallas for Osa Odigizua yesterday.
Yeah.
But
Man,
who knows? There's been talk. There's been talk about trading Ricky Pearsall. Talk about trading Renardo Green. There's even talk about the Niners holding on to Brandon Ayuk and potentially trying to find a trade partner. So I think between now and the draft, the Niners might come up on another couple of draft picks.
Oh heck yeah, yeah. With Lynch in there making calls, you're never, like you said, he's gonna call in on any player and do what he can. He's gonna do his due diligence, as he says.
Absolutely. Well,
But
Isai, anything else you want to hit on before we let you go?
I just want to say, hey, how about that fleece? We fleeced the Cowboys, man.
Yeah, I think so, man. He's a player that the Cowboys thought so highly of that they signed him to a 4-year, $80 million contract just to trade him for a 3rd-round pick a year later. I mean,
the guy went for a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah. It's interesting that the Niners and Cowboys, worked out a trade of that magnitude, but we'll take it, man. Another team's trash is another team's treasure, and Osa's going to wreck shop in San Francisco,
what
man,
do you think?
and the Cowboys fans are going to be mad about it.
Yeah, what do you think Jerry was thinking? Like, was he just having one of his senile moments, like with Micah?
You know
or
what? It actually, from the Cowboys' perspective, it makes a ton of sense to me because they have Quinnen Williams. They acquired Rashawn Gary. I don't think they wanted to have 3 defensive tackles making $20 million a season, so they have a bit of a logjam at that position. So it makes sense to me why they moved off of Osa. They said that Osa was being involved in any potential Max Crosby talks that the Cowboys were having with the Raiders in recent weeks, but after that fell through and Max Crosby, went to the Ravens for like 6 hours. The Cowboys pivoted and they ended up flipping Osa to the Niners.
I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, Isai, man, as always, good to hear from you. Thanks for calling, buddy. Appreciate it.
Of course. Always. Take it easy, JD.
All righty. Have a good night. Shout out my guy Isai for calling in. Always good to hear from the regulars. If anyone else wants to call in, now's your shot. How do you feel about the 49ers bringing back Dre Greenlaw, the emotional leader, the heartbeat of the 49ers defense, the tone setter? Man, I'm hyped up. I'm so excited that Dre Greenlaw's back, guys. I can't lie, man. Like I said it in my initial reaction video that I put out today, and if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out because I was energized. It's almost got me a little emotional, man. Like he's one of those kind of players to me, and I'm so happy that Greenlaw's back because I know what it's going to mean from an emotional standpoint, from a tone-setting standpoint. Like Dre Greenlaw knows what it means to be a 49er, and he's going to help instill that culture in these young guys, and I'm excited, man. We do have another caller backstage. Let me go ahead and bring him on up. We bring up David to the show. David, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Doing good. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
I got you. I hear you loud and clear, my guy. What's on your mind? How are you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Just thinking about all these guys we're bringing in. I hope Greenlaw stays healthy. But the biggest move I like was the Mike Evans move. He's gonna get trip out on this. He's gonna get 1,000 yards this year, and he's gonna get 12 or 13 touchdowns this year with the Niners.
Hey, if he gets that, then I think we're going to be very happy 49ers fans come playoff time. I think that'll set the Niners up nicely going in to a playoff run.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What'd you think about bringing back Greenlaw, man? How does that one move the needle for you?
If he could stay healthy and he could be on that field, I know what he could do already. He's a monster. He's good. He could hit hard. He could show these guys, the young guys on the defense, more him and Fred Warner, go-to linebackers in the NFL. But I'm happy he came back. But let's see if he stays healthy though.
Yeah. Let me ask you, man, how are you feeling overall with what the 49ers have done so far in free agency? Like, are you happy with what they've done, or is there something else you want to see them do maybe in the coming days? Like, how are you feeling about free agency so far?
I like it so far. I like all the things they've been doing. They're making moves. They have to keep up with the Seahawks and the Rams because they're signing people too. So and our division's hard. So I think the Niners doing real good.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, anything else you want to hit on before we go ahead and let you go?
I can't wait. When the draft is coming up.
Late April, I believe. I want to say it's April 23rd or 24th, somewhere right around there. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but we're about a month and a half out.
Okay. Yeah, I like what they're doing, man.
Absolutely. Well, hey, David, man, as always, good to hear from you, buddy. Thanks for always tuning in, man. Have a good night, okay?
Yeah, you too, man. Let's go Niners.
Let's go. Shout out my guy David for calling in as always. Well, there we have it, Niner fans. An exciting day indeed if you are a fan of the San Francisco 49ers. And who knows what tomorrow's going to bring. I mean, we could wake up tomorrow and get another huge Twitter notification about the next big 49ers move that the team makes. It's an exciting time right now. The Niners are busy. They're making moves. They're not asleep at the wheel. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan know that this team had certain holes they needed to fill. And yes, they still need to get a little younger and a little faster. I think we know that, but that's what the draft, is for. And at the end of the day, like this team looks like they might be trying to, trade some draft assets for proven players because they've had issues drafting in recent years. And maybe they say, okay, hey, we're coming up on, a fork in the road here, a make it or break it point. John Lynch is going into a contract year as the general manager of the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan's under contract for 2 more years. This team has to win right now. And so maybe they're thinking, okay, we've struggled at certain areas of the draft. Why don't we flip those draft picks for proven players like they did with that 3rd round pick to Dallas for Osa Odigizua? Maybe they make some more moves. Maybe they ultimately pull the trigger on a Jordan Addison trade. Who knows? But I feel like the Niners aren't done. I feel like there's more moves to be made. The Trent Williams situation is still looming out there. They have to agree to terms with Trent there. And when they do, it will free up some cap space, I'm sure. There's always the situations with Ricky Pearsall and Renardo Green who've been floated out there in trade talks. It's not a slow time of year. It may be the offseason. But if you're a 49er fan, you know that there's always something to talk about when it comes to the red and gold. Well, hey, faithful, I'm going to go ahead and call it there. I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. I had to go live and talk about all the news of the day, a ton going on down there at 4949. And of course, keep it locked right here on Keeping the Faith. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have those notifications on, people, so you don't miss a thing. I dropped a ton of content in the last 24 to 48 hours. So if you missed it, go back to the channel and check it out. A ton of stuff here on the channel. But with all that said, we will be back soon. as soon as other news breaks. So, as always, just stay faithful, guys, and let's go Niners.